Hey, good morning. Steve Zonard here with Treviso Realty. Just a quick update in the current market. Inventory's down another 1.5% to 2%. We're at 22,767, which is good. We're going in the right direction. 22,539 units. Last week we had about 200 extra units. Sales are at 489, pretty steady there between that 450 and 500 rate in 7 days, which is great. Estero inventory down about 2% at 775 versus a 792 of last week, and then we had 20 closings in the last 7 days. So yeah, looking good. We're going in the right direction as we're watching some markets go in reverse, where we're getting high inventory, less sales. We're actually going in lower inventory and more sales, or like at least consistent sales. So again, what we're finding now is a very exciting time. Going forward, even to buy real estate as investment properties, we're selling these small properties between $250,000 and $300,000 right now, which make total sense. They're cash flowing properties. We're actually hosting a webinar strategically for people up north that or potential investors up north that don't know how to buy into a Florida market. So we're going to have myself to bring the product. We're going to have mortgage agent to get the funding. We're going to have a tax consultant to show you how to structure your LLCs for not to have double taxation, and then we're going to have an attorney on to kind of go through the LLC process and what you'll need. So it's going to be like a full package. It's a team that I've assembled about 3 years ago, except the mortgage agents knew Joe's my buddy. And we've been doing a lot of business the last 2 years, but this is all basically my team that I started on with this type of investing out here in Southwest Florida. So pretty cool. Regarding interest rates, there's speculation that we're going to see a rate drop in July. I believe now Trump said that he's really considering making the change at the Federal Reserve because he's bottlenecking the economy. You can't have this, especially if you've seen over the weekend there was obviously some military strikes by the U.S. on Iran. We don't need any of this currently right now. We need to focus on the U.S. and kind of go forward with the economy. But again, there's threat and it needs to be taken care of. But what does that do for the market going forward? We don't know yet. Hopefully it ends here and it goes into peace and there's some signing, because if there's war, they have that narrow passage where 1/5 of all the oil passes through Iran and Persia, around that area. So it's called the Strait, Horrell Strait. I forgot the actual name, starts with an H. Anyway, they bottleneck that. You're going to see massive implosion of oil prices, which is not going to be a good thing, because right now we're down. I forgot, we're probably in the low 70s or high 60s. I haven't checked in a week or so. So we'll see. Hopefully that works out okay. So again, more than likely we're going to see a rate change in July, because they're meeting at the end of July. It needs to be sooner, to be honest. That's pretty much it. They're thinking 2 rate cuts, so we can get this thing down like even 50 to 100 basis points going forward. We're going to be in really good shape, because right now we're buying investment properties that are cash positive going forward, and also even for secondary home buyers, like the prices are at bottom, because we're even pushing. Again, we always go back to Verdana Village. It's like almost like a baseline for me, but even negotiating deals there with Lennar, these guys are not budging past these certain rates. We can get a Trevi on partial lake view for like 485, 487, and that's pretty much at the bottom. I can't get it any lower than that. Somerville's are mid fives on a decent lot, and then even 550 to 570, and then again when you get into like the partial lake lots or preserves or back down to other houses, those would be in the low fives, like 520-ish, which is obviously, remember at the height these were over 700,000. Now they're in the low 500s. So again, this is still a very good time, as long as you can get into a rate that makes sense and you can kind of shift it at a later date. Why not? I like the adjustable rate mortgage, to be honest. I think it's like a 6-7 as they call it. You got 6 years to make a decision on what you want to do with the rate. I think it's, there's a lot to happen in the market in 6 years, so it always gives you open to opportunity. Another article I was reading, let me just share a screen here if this works. This is quite interesting. As you know, we're building as well. We had to put the brakes on it because it doesn't make sense right now. Again, Lennar selling 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom detaches for like under $300,000. How do you compete against that? But they ranked Cape Coral and Fort Myers in the top 20 housing markets. We're ranked 16th, which is not the greatest, clearly, but I mean, ultimately we still made it on the list. And you got to remember, Cape Coral, I wasn't aware of it, is actually the largest city in Southwest Florida, 220,000 population. And then when you get into Fort Myers, I believe it's 120 to 120,000. Actually, Lehigh Acres is larger than the population than Fort Myers. I didn't realize that. I thought Fort Myers was like the most populous place, but it's not. So Cape and Lehigh, then it's going to be Fort Myers. So which is pretty cool. Obviously, we're thinking to buy land end of the year, going into next year. I think we're going to be in a pretty decent market. We're going to have a pickup, so we might as well start assembling land, and then I believe we're going to pick up an investment property as a family, just like in the middle, probably within the month in July. We're going to pick up one of these investment properties that we're selling for clients. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's a funny analogy. It's like they're so cheap. It's like when you go to a grocery store and you load up the conveyor belt with all the necessary stuff you need for the week, and then on the way out, either you buy like a pack of gum or whatever, a chocolate bar, a Mars bar on the way out. So it's literally, that's what these are. They're priced so low and they make so much sense for investment. Why not pick one up on the way out? And this is obviously long term, where you're going to hold it part for the family in the future, because they're already cash flowing. They're going to put money in your pocket going forward. Even at let's just say at bare minimum 2 to 3% appreciation, like in 10 years, these things are almost paid for, and you got a full cash property. And your kids at that point, if they're going to college or whatever they're doing, they can kind of cash that out or refinance and use that money to go forward. So that's the plans. But that's pretty much it, guys. Have an amazing week. We will talk soon. Bye bye.